everybody. We just had some technical difficulties, and then I had one, Ellie, just as we went off. I realised I hadn't set up the stream key properly, but we hopefully are live. Do let us know in the chat if you can see and hear us. Ellie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? I hope that everything's working because I'm like technical side, I don't understand so much.
I
So
know.
hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully everybody else can hear me. Yeah, I'm excited to talk FPL. Hopefully get some interesting questions that will maybe help me make up my mind about what I want to do as well because I've been like simmering on a couple of things.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm excited to chat.
Yeah, we've got the all clear from Az. He says it's all working. We just had I was so confident setting it up. I was like, I think I've done it. And then you had no sound. So thank goodness we can see you, we can hear you.
No sound, no video.
We've got Charlie in the chat tonight. Good evening, Charlie. Thank you so much for joining. We've got Monkey Man, obviously knew that they're, yes, technical issues. Hopefully next time. We're only 8 minutes late, so it could be a lot worse. Nigel the Crab, Nigel, you're a member. Thank you so much. I just started memberships on the channel, and I think you're the first member. So congratulations, and thank you so much for joining. That's really exciting. I'm looking forward to Ellie. You better become a member because I'm going to do behind the scenes content. I'm going to start an Instagram story just for members where it's like instant reactions to matches or that kind of
Oh
thing.
my God,
I know,
that's
honest,
amazing.
it's where it's all going to be happening. So yeah, don't resist becoming a member. I think it's going to be a fun crowd. We may as well get straight into it then, because I guess you and I are both a bit stuck, I
Mhm.
suppose, with our transfers and things. So I will take us into looking at both of our teams. And this will probably be where suddenly your sound's cut out. No, I can hear you laughing. So this is where I am currently. And I mean, if we go on my team for the week, not feeling, I'm not feeling awful about it, but my transfer plans, I was going to bring in Solanke. Now he's injured, supposedly. Didn't play in the FA Cup. Obviously, Huang is out, it looks like. And I really want to bring in Son, but I'm going to have to take a hit to do so. It'll probably be a defender, a hit for a defender, -4 for Trippier to downgrade, and then probably upgrade Huang to Son. But I
Mhm.
just feel like with the blank game week 29 coming up, there are so many transfer options and routes to go down, and this is where we're going to see a really big split in terms of strategy and points. So how are you feeling? If I get your team up, how are you feeling ahead of this game week?
Pull my team up. So, I had last week was the first green arrow that I had in a long time, in like five or so game weeks, I feel. And it's all because of Bowen, basically. But you can see my team is just a bit of a disaster at the moment. So that whole back line, like Saliba, I'm going to keep, but I'm just not sold on the back line.
Mm,
Borna has been the worst transfer in ever. Dubrovka as well didn't play. And then Solanke's now injured, and I had transferred him in last week to prepare for the double. In game week 28 to try to
mm,
get ahead of the curve a bit, and that didn't work. Um, so I'm kind of stuck as well, and I was trying to think about like transfer strategy and what I should be doing. And I don't know about a lot of people watching, but I have a really hard time mapping out transfers for
mm,
5, 7, like end of season until the end
yeah.
of the season. Like I tend to look at the next 3 weeks, five, the absolute most, but it's a little bit harder for me just to like think about, oh, if this happens, I start going down a rabbit hole and getting lost with myself. Um, but I think the big thing is now that we've had the FA Cup and we kind of know with more certainty the teams that are going to blank in game week 29,
Hmm.
we have 4 games, I believe.
Yeah.
So Aston Villa, West Ham, Brentford, Burnley, Fulham, Spurs, and Luton Forest. So I'm kind of trying to look at how my team is set up, how many players I'm going to have. I
Mm.
have the 2 Aston Villa players. I have West Ham. Um, is that it? Do I have 3 players playing?
I've got three at the moment. I mean, you could do De Bruyne to Son or something, and then you'd have. But the thing is, I was. really talking myself out of doing a free hit, and then I didn't forward plan, and now I have to. Otherwise, I'm going to go in either taking loads of hits to get a minimum of starting 9, or just kind of going in and knowing that it's going to be a terrible game week. But I think with the fixtures that we have, it's not a lot of teams that I'd necessarily want players for long term. Whereas with the rest of the kind of like doubles coming up and things, I think a lot of the time I'll probably have quite a few players that are probably going to be long-term holds. And I think with Villa, I can go for McGinn. I can finally bring him back into my team. Obviously, you've got Forest. I can then go for Awoniyi. I can try Gibbs White. And it's quite a fun week to maybe have a bit of a punt. And I feel like this season I've played in such a boring way. Like I haven't really had any of those players. The ones that I have had, like Bernardo Silva, I backed for 3 weeks and he was absolutely awful for me. So I feel like the free hit maybe I need to get out my system, kind of just some more fun options.
I know, like I'm thinking about it because I'm looking now, like just trying to plan live a little bit for game week 29. And I don't have any other players. I have 3 players at the moment. I don't know why I thought I had more. The thing with me is that I just feel like what if you have a nil-nil? Like, what if you have a
Mm,
really low-scoring game across the board and you're kind of putting all of your eggs in one basket, but are you getting more points than you would normally, or is there a better time to use the free hit? And I was trying my best to forward plan, and what I'm thinking about is there's likely doubles in game week 34 and 37.
mm-hmm.
So I probably will bench boost in 37.
Yeah.
I probably want a wild card a little bit before that so that I can set my team up good for potentially 34 and for bench boost 37.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't really know when to use the free hit, to be honest. So I'm like, maybe I could just use it now, get it out of the way. Do I really care about it if I use it the last day of the season and try to build the ultimate team on the season? Like, I feel like the free hit is like a bit of a difficult one, or
Yeah.
maybe you could try to free hit in 34. I don't know.
Mm,
Like for that double game week, free hit there, wild card right before 37, and then bench
mm.
boost 37. Um, so that's kind of where I'm standing. I'm just like, if there were more teams, I think I would be more drawn to the free hit. But the fact that it's only 4 fixtures, I'm kind of like, oof. But I see what you're saying because it's
Mm.
like, okay, then I'm literally gonna have like 6 players maybe.
Yeah, but then I think because I've seen quite a few people saying, "Oh, should I use my free hit? I've only got X amount of players." But I think it depends on who those players are. If they're decent, then yeah, go for it. Whereas if you've got like last week for the blank, I had a back 4, and I thought I don't really want to go into this with 4 defenders when I've got Trippier, Stupinian. Like it's really hard ones. Then ended up taking a hit, so I could go in with more attackers. But I don't know. I don't like forward planning because I pigeonhole myself into it too much.
Same.
But
Yeah.
now I'm like, maybe I should have had a strategy.
The thing that I'm thinking about as well is realistically transfer wise, I could take out De Bruyne and I could put Son in. So that's going to give me another player.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, depending on fixtures and stuff, I could also take out Solanke and put in Tony,
Ooh, that's fun.
and he would be playing. So that would already get me up to 5 players.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
Yeah.
much.
I mean, Charlie says, Ellie, with your team, I'd roll the transfer and don't panic about Game Week 29, just free hit. That's another one, encouraging you to free hit.
Just free hit. Oh,
I need to just
don't
give you
know.
some credit here. We've got Nigel the Crab says Bowen was a hell of a hold. And
Thank
then
you.
it was mentioned here, Yelena mentioned this morning in Mez's stream that you, Elizabeth, are the longest owning streak of Bowen.
I think I
I did.
probably am.
I said this. And last week when I did the AI team and they had Bowen, I was like, Ellie's on it. This is exactly what happened to you last season. You hauled out for these players and then finally, I mean, getting that hat trick must have been the best feeling.
the best thing was I forgot that there was football as well. So I woke up and I was on Twitter and I was like, oh, somebody's saying that there's Bowen returns. I saw like one return. I was like, okay, amazing. At least he got something. And then I checked and I saw he got a hat trick and I was like, what is happening? But as you can see, it was like one of the only bright spots of my team. Like the defense is just an absolute shambles. And I really, really want to fix the defense.
Mm.
It's one of the parts that I'm struggling with the most. So I don't know. I'm just like nervous to free hit. I think I'm just like,
Yeah, and it's quite nice sometimes. I think having the chips in your back pocket, so if anything goes disastrously wrong, at least you can then fall back on that and be like, it's fine. I'll free hit my way out of it. I'm looking at it from the opposite way. I'm like, I need to make some ground up. So I need to have
oh,
the best starting 11 I can make out of a bad bunch and then just go for it. But like you said, if it ends up being a low scoring week, be a bit gutted that we've wasted it on those fixtures.
I feel like it's a real like turning point, and I don't know. I'm kind of between two minds. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I probably like. Good thing is we don't really have to make our mind up right now because I can roll
Mm.
the transfer and then
Yeah.
take a -4 or whatever and have 3 or 4 free transfers. But yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one, and I don't know what to do with my team as well. So I think there was a comment just to roll the transfer. Right
Mm.
now, I currently have Palmer's back in the team right now. So who have I bet? Oh, I benched Solanke for Palmer.
Mm. I mean, Palmer's one to come to actually, and it kind of goes in nicely. Oh, Niall was in the chat. It was Niall's birthday yesterday. Hope you had a good
Ah,
one.
happy birthday.
Um, we have bench one for this week: Foden, Douglas, Luiz, Saka, Son, Palmer. So with my team, you're going to hate me for this, but my team this week, before we got the news about Huang, I was going to bench Palmer. Um, but now I feel quite confident playing him for Brentford away. But he has been one. It's between Gordon and Palmer to stay in my team. And I don't know what it is about Palmer. I don't know whether it's because of semi lost faith in Chelsea recently. And I don't like having the joint disappointment of my player blanking plus us losing, which seems to be happening. But how do you feel about Palmer as an asset now? Do you still think he's kind of a must have, or do you think there are other options that you'd rather go for?
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. And you guys know that I've been on the Palmer hype train
Hmm.
since literally forever.
Before
Um,
anyone else.
but I don't know. I just like look at the price point right now. He's 5.7, but I think a lot of people probably got him in your teams before he was 5.7 because
Mm.
he's 34% owned. I thought that he would be way more at this point,
Oh,
to be honest
wow.
with you. Yeah, I thought that he was more highly owned.
Mm.
But if we're looking at goals and assists, oh my God, he already has 10 goals and 7 assists so far this season. And I feel like Chelsea as a whole haven't been playing extremely well,
Mm.
but he's still the heart of everything good that's happening at Chelsea. He is on penalties.
Yeah.
And I just think for that price point, you kind of need a player that's going to be that low price point kind of budget player. So if it were for me, I would at the very least keep him in your teams. And
Hmm.
if you want to bench him, you could bench him. But he's the kind of player that even if Chelsea don't play well, he could make an assist or he could get a
Yeah,
goal.
definitely.
And so that's why I've been starting him because I don't know, I just kind of feel like there's always a chance that he does something.
Yeah. So in terms of benching Foden, Douglas Luiz, Saka, Son, or Palmer, for me it would be between Douglas Luiz and Palmer. I think I'd have to go Palmer, which it's a regretful one, and it's so annoying that there are so many good attackers. But would you agree, or would you bench one of the others?
No, it's really hard because actually I was thinking about transferring in Douglas Luiz this fixture as well.
Mm.
Um, but they play Aston Villa play Luton. So I think if you're between those two, then yeah, you probably have to bench Palmer. The other thing to take into account as well, obviously he didn't start in the FA Cup,
Hmm.
but I think the Chelsea team does look pretty tired after playing 120 minutes in the
And what was
Carabao
it for?
final. I was so mad. Um,
I was
but
talking to Mira this morning before we went live, and then she was just chatting away, then dropped in the fact that she was a Liverpool fan, and I was like, what?
Yeah, no, she's a Liverpool fan.
I was like, we can't be recording after Sunday.
So yeah, I think like that could be something else to take into account. Like he's been rested, so you think that he's going to start versus Brentford, but maybe the team as a whole is pretty tired and leggy. And I think that Poch might have even mentioned that after yesterday's win, that it felt like Chelsea were kind of slugging along, and then got the last minute winner.
Yeah.
So I think if that were the situation, I would bench Palmer. Now I'm thinking, do I just transfer KDB out and bring in Douglas Luiz because they're facing Luton?
It is tempting. I mean, if I were you, I'm really eyeing up Son. I want to get him back, and for that Palace fixture, I feel like they've got Maddison back. They can go full strength, really attacking. Not to put things into your head. You always come into these and you're like, oh, so I'm thinking this, and I'm like, nope. You should do this. But Douglas Luiz is fun.
Clear, and then I leave with more questions than it.
I'll just have a look at the chat. Delia's in the chat. Hello, lovelies. What a maverick move to still have Bowen in your team. It was honestly, you played a blinder with that one. It was so good. We've got everyone say happy birthday to Niall if you're in the chat. Charlie says, I think Palmer's ownership reflects the amount of dead teams in FPL who wouldn't have him when he was at City and only engaged managers after his transfers brought him in. Yeah, I mean, Palmer has just been the absolute, because I can only sell him for 5.4. He's been such a good budget option. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what his price is next season. But I think that is one. Thank you for recommending him, because I've been so happy. Eddie gave us his team ID. If I can find his, here we go. We can have a look at some teams as well. It's quite handy, I think, when you see other people's teams, and then it kind of gives you ideas for your own as well. So we've got 128 190. So see Eddie's team, we've got very similar defence. Trippier, Gabriel, Estufanian, Hwang in midfield, obviously the potential injury with Solanke as well, Garnacho, Saka, Foden, Watkins, Haaland. I love on the bench. I can never, is it Senesi? Bournemouth defender.
I think so.
Senesi, I think that is such a good shout, especially ahead of Bournemouth's fixtures. The only thing that's making me a little bit nervous is I think he's on 8 yellow cards now. But I think that's a really nice one to go for. And the ownership must be so low, 4.4% with Burnley, Sheffield United and Luton coming up. I think that's it's good, isn't it? And then to be able to kind of bring in those Bournemouth players that are doubling with such a good double. How much money in the bank? 4.3 million, so a fair amount. I think this whole stream, I'm just going to recommend people bring in Son. I don't know what it is. It was I've spoken about it today only.
Just now Richarlison. Would you double up?
Well, isn't there rumours that Richarlison may be injured?
I hadn't heard that, but
I think so. People can let me know in the chat if I've just made that up. But I was feeling quite smug because I took him out last week, but I took him out for Hwang, so I'm not really any better off with that one.
It would be easy to upgrade Richarlison to Son.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's what I'd go for if there is that rumour. If not, I think maybe Solanke up to Tony, I really like. Plus, you've got a player playing in 29.
So how injured is Solanke? That's what I want to know, because I transferred him in last week.
I don't know. So he didn't play in the cup in the week, and he obviously went down in the game last week against City, but then he got back up and carried on playing. So I'm not quite sure how serious it is. And the thing is, being rested in the cup isn't really a massive deal. It could just be precautionary. They weren't too fussed about having him, and then they're going to go full force at the weekend. So I'm not sure, but I'm hoping for some early team news on that one, because my transfers are all based on whether I'm going for Solanke or Son.
Oh, man.
Delia's confirmed. She said, yeah, Richarlison didn't train with the team outside. Nice. Dow is crying in the chat. He said, the FPL King isn't getting any love today. I don't think you can call yourself the FPL King. I won't lie. I think that is why. But he did give some advice. He's a Villa fan and said Power will be okay. He was just taken off as a precaution. as coming back from injury. He'll start on Saturday, so don't worry. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, you've made Ellie's day now.
Yes.
Eddie says I'm free hitting in 29. I still like the Tony move. I think he's a nice long-term hold.
Another person free hitting at 29.
We're coming for you, Ellie.
I know.
Eddie said I can go Hee-chan to Son. I think that would be my move. What would you go for?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Or, well, it depends how Charleston injury news, because I've been. Oh, my video has gotten so bad all of a sudden. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear and see you.
Okay, cool. My video just kind of got really blurry, and I guess my connection crapped out a bit. What I was saying is, I literally like haven't been on social media in the past day, which maybe isn't the best for stream news. But I would definitely see how long Richarlison is out for as well, because obviously Spurs play in 29. But if you're free hitting, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's a lot of money to have on the bench, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, Son's price is likely to rise tonight too, so get in if you want him. All the signs are pointing towards transferring him in.
That's the thing. It's like a balance between transferring him in and waiting for team news and trying to figure out like how to move with that. So now I'm like, do I do Son in? But I also want Douglas Luiz. Do I just transfer out Foden as well?
I wouldn't take out Foden. Foden is so
No.
good. And that's coming from someone that hasn't owned him for most of the season. Brought him in for 2 weeks, and it's been the highlight of my FPL career.
I've brought him in, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I've had some like blank, blank, blank. I captained him, blank, captained him, blank. Didn't captain him, 20-pointer, blank, and then he got 11 points. So I'm kind of like, we're high.
I think it's a tricky one, but I think the fact that I'm going to jinx it now, but he's nailed in the squad as well, and that's so hard to find with City players.
Yeah.
Because I think, has he started every game this season?
I think he started, yeah.
For if only that could have been Bernardo Silva, and my season would be very, very different.
I know.
Sad. Nigel says still fancy Richarlison as a pick personally. Yeah, I think it's a nice choice. I also really like Maddison, but I think Son is just that focal point for me. I probably won't even transfer him in after all this chatting about him. Ashley says, still have my triple captain. Game week 33, City and Luton meet again. Do you think it's worth holding till then and hoping Haaland loads up on goals again? Was going to do Solanke originally. I think if Solanke's fit for the double, I think that double is too good to ignore. I'd probably hold out for that. If not, it's tough actually, isn't it? I think punting on a single game week. But I mean, we saw obviously the damage that Haaland did. 5 goals. So typical that it's not in the Premier League, isn't it?
I know, and I was so upset because KDB, I think, got 4 assists in that game, and I've had him for ages, and he's done nothing for my FPL team. And I was like, why aren't you doing this in FPL? I think we might have some more news on doubles in game week 34 as well, potentially, if you're looking for another double. Then maybe you'll have more information on if Solanke is out injured for 28.
Yeah. So I think, Solanke double would be my first choice. If not, just have fun with it. And I think it's quite nice if you've still got your triple captaincy chip now, because all of ours was such a flop. Like, the bar is so low. It's not like you're trying to beat 40 points or something. Because it wasn't our proudest moment. I'm saying this like it's our shared team.
Yeah. We are one.
Salah says, I have Neto to come off the bench if Solanke is out injured. Newcastle haven't kept a clean sheet and defensively have been poor even at home, so not a bad replacement. Yeah, I'm fully in for that. I can't believe I've got double Newcastle defence. It's embarrassing. They're conceding so many goals.
I have Dubrovka and I don't have a backup keeper, so I'm so screwed. I know. That's going to be the first thing that I try to fix on my wild card. But yeah, I haven't wanted to spend the transfer on the goalkeeper, but it's done absolutely nothing for me. So it's
so funny with the keepers, because I think I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to prioritize a transfer on them. It doesn't make a difference. Then the week where you get 7 or 10 points from a keeper, it changes everything.
Totally.
So it's definitely something to look at.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't remember the last time that I got that. I'm honestly thinking about doing Petrovic, like Chelsea's.
Ooh.
I don't know because maybe maybe that's like too much for my heart to take, but I do think Chelsea might double as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also one thing I've been looking at a bit more now with picking my keeper is the save points too.
yeah.
Sometimes it kind of pays off to go for the more difficult fixtures because once you've lost the clean sheet, at least then you can hopefully get a point or two um, from there. We've got Lee Fisher says, any thoughts on Salah coming back to your team? Salah's still flagged, isn't he? And he obviously didn't play on Sunday. I think Salah will be a priority for me from game week 30, but I don't know the exact route yet because I don't want to rip apart the whole team to bring him in. But I think I might make gradual transfers to get towards him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was actually planning to bring him in and upgrade KDB to Salah, but now that he's injured, and he's still injured and still flagged, I'm just not going to do that. So I do kind of have an easier route to get to him if I wanted to,
Hmm.
but I think I'm probably gonna wild card to like 30 or 31.
Yeah.
So if he's fit for that, then I'm gonna look to wild card him in.
Yeah, I think he's just a must-have, isn't he? And when we saw people that went without Haaland and then they were captaining Salah and they did so well during that period, um, I can captaincy decisions this season just are not
Well,
going my
for me,
way.
it's been awful. I don't think I've had like one really good captaincy decision in the past, like, I don't know, like literally 2 to 3 months. I'm not even
Mm,
joking. Like every week, I'm trying to be like fun with the captaincy decisions or like take a risk, and it's just not paying off at all.
yeah, it's um, it's a frustrating one, and I think you try and think outside the box, and then Haaland will go and haul. So you're like, and this week I was determined. I thought I'm going to go for either Watkins or Saka captaincy. Done. And then Haaland scores 5 goals, and you're like, he does have it in him. Maybe I do have to stick with him for that game week. Delia said, this game week I'm between rolling my free transfer or taking a hit, no in between. The way
Um,
Delia plays FPL is honestly so much fun. She just goes for these rogue options. I think that's what I need to become more like because at the moment I keep thinking I'm playing it safe. And then, I mean, the Huang one, did I tell you about me transferring him in last week?
I knew that you transferred him in because a lot of people were transferring him in, I think. You said that you were
Mm.
like influenced by everybody, but I don't know. I could be making that up.
No, so I felt like everyone was doing it and I was like, right, I'm gonna do it. And then before the deadline, I watched FPL Chai's live stream and he wasn't bringing him in. And then I was like, I don't need him. It's fine. I'll just go with what I've got, whatever. And then, as has De Bruyne in his team, and he got the early team news that De Bruyne was benched, and he was like, all right, I'm transferring him in. I'm bringing in Huang. And I was like, I can't have you owning him, and he might haul, and it's just going to ruin my weekend. So I was like, fine, I'll bring him in as well. Took a hit, and then
So it's Az's fault that you have him
blame
in.
everyone apart from me. I deserve that blank though. That will teach me to not try and just get every single player that's playing Sheffield United. Delia said, I do not recommend you to go rogue. After triple captain KDB, I calm down now. Even so, though, it's fun, isn't it? Playing your own game and
And
making
it can pay
decisions.
off. Like, and the thing is, like, KDB has been getting into good positions as well, and he's always
Hmm.
a threat. So, like, when he's on the pitch, anything can happen. And I feel like it's just been a bit unlucky as well. And I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't think he was going to be benched as much as he has been, to be honest with you.
I've been really surprised. And the fact that he played the full 90, I think, against Luton in the cup is just typical, isn't it? Like Estupinian came on, he played the game, he
I
started, and
know, but like, Stefan needs to get out of my team.
he's never going to leave. He'll be there to the end of the season. Even on a wild card, he'll find his way back in. Niall says, I'm praying for Solanke to be fit in time for 28 so I can triple captain him. Very well done, Niall. And hopefully that does pay off because it's hard going against what basically everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Because it was the most a player's ever been triple captained, wasn't it, that double game week for Haaland?
I know, I fell for it. Didn't pay off.
Nigel said Haaland against the United defence feels like a great set of returns this week. Completely agree, and the captaincy is now firmly on him. I won't be going Maverick at all. We've got Dow, the FPL king, he's given us his team ID, but seeing as he is self-proclaimed FPL king, I don't feel like he needs our advice because he is a pro. He said he's made early moves: KDB to Saka and Adebayo to Solanke for a -4. Tempted to wildcard. Okay, let's have a look. And then we're filming our team selection over on Ellie's channel this evening, so we will wrap up in about 5 minutes, and then this is like a good warm-up for us, isn't it?
Yeah, I know,
We can get into the FPL
like, the juice
mindset.
is flowing. I start thinking about what I want.
Yeah.
I have about a million ideas, so
19597. Oh, here we go. So KDB to Saka. Yeah, that's definitely a priority. Adebayo to Solanke for a -4. I mean, I wouldn't wildcard. I think
no.
it's fine. I can't think. Oh, Huang captain. That's a tough one to take. Yeah, I think I would personally just keep that team, keep chugging along. I feel like everyone now is a bit bored of their teams, and the temptation to wildcard is definitely building.
Yeah,
But I think we're probably a lot of the time, anytime I use my wildcard, my original team would have always done better. The
I know.
wildcard always flops.
I'm the same as well. I think like a big part of it is the defense because we see like Newcastle defense isn't doing well.
Mm.
But I don't know, like I don't mind the defense so much because like I think Gabriel had scored if I'm not mistaken and then it got chalked off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's been really good recently. And then Trippier, I actually not too long ago I was trying to bring him in because I was getting FOMO with the attacking returns again and he just
Hmm.
hasn't been getting the amount that he was. But you can see like a couple of game weeks ago it was 7-9-4, he got an
Yeah.
assist. So I still like I don't like for the price. I wouldn't have Trippier in my team right now, but I don't think like it's a because I have Trippier. I need to wild card and like mess like I can't think like, change my entire team. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's quite easy to get fixated on one player and be like, I need to take them out. Because someone commented on my video recently and was like, Estupinian and Trippier are the last players I'd have in my team, even on the bench or something. And I was like, I've got other issues. I don't like them, but there's nothing I can do at the moment. Wait for the wild card.
Like
Um,
what other issues?
I feel attacked. Delia said, we'll finish up on these comments. Delia said, last game week I said I'm going to play it safe. Though I wanted to bring Watkins and Sarabia, I played safe and bought Solanke and Huang. That's been a really popular double up. People have taken hits to do Solanke and Huang, and then now apparently injuries. It's just this. I swear this season is cursed. It's been such a
Yeah.
tricky one.
I was feeling massive FOMO as well, and I think it kind of just happened to work in my favor that I didn't have the midfield spot for Huang.
Mm,
Because I think like we see a lot of people kind of going for the same thing, and then you start feeling like, oh, I have to do this.
yeah.
And sometimes it's just better to go with your gut. And I always find that if I go with my gut and it doesn't work out, at least I'm like, oh, that's annoying, but I did what I wanted. But if I follow
Mm.
somebody like what everybody else is doing and I kind of get like persuaded by other people and then it doesn't work out, I'm like, I should have just listened to my gut. So
Yeah, when Douglas Luiz has another haul and Sun blanks, you'll be like, why did I listen to her?
I know I'm like, do I transfer both in for a hit, honestly?
No, no, don't get carried away. We'll end on the wise words of Charlie, who said, don't overthink captaincy this week. Haaland against United is the way to go. So that is me firmly set on a Haaland captaincy. Well, we've been going for 35 minutes nearly, which has absolutely flown by. So thank you so much, everyone in the chat who has joined and contributed. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And also subscribe to Ellie's channel. We will be filming our team selection on there, which I'm guessing will go up later tonight.
Yeah, I'll put it up later tonight. Basically, once we're done recording, I'll just pop it up.
Content everywhere from us.
I know, look at us go.
Have you got any parting words before we leave?
No, I mean, give us advice. Let me know how
Help.
strategies transfer in. We're meant to be helping you guys as well, but I want advice too, you guys. So I just love the FPL community and getting advice from everybody and chatting with you guys. So yeah, ask us questions on this video, on the video that I'll post. We're super happy to interact and find our way together.
Find out. That is such a lovely way to end. Well, thanks so much everyone for watching, and we will see you in Ellie's video. Bye guys.